Today, I'm going to show you how to turn a circular tablecloth into a circle skirt, just like that. Best part, the edges are already hemmed, so we don't need to hem a circle skirt. All we need to do is cut a hole and add some elastic. To turn this tablecloth into a circle skirt, first thing we need to do is measure our hips, because we need to make sure it's going to get over our hips. So I measured the largest part of my hips, and it's around 37 inches comfortably. But you want to add 2 inches, so that way you got some extra movement to get in and out of your skirt. So that means my measurement is going to be 39. Next, we need to do some math. We need to find the radius for the circle that's going to be around our waist and getting it over our hips, right? So you're going to take your number and you're going to divide it by 6.3. And when you get that number, that's the number we need to create the radius for the middle of the circle. My number is 6.19, and I'm going to round it to the nearest eighth. So I'm going to round down to 6.125, which is 6 1/8. And you can do that too. Round your number to the nearest eighth. And since our waistband is going to be elastic, you could go up or down the eighth. It's not going to matter that much. Now what we're going to do is take our circle tablecloth and we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to fold it in half again. So we're going to have 4 quarters. You can already see it starting to look like a circle skirt. Now that I have my tablecloth folded in 4, it's time to grab my tape measure, my marking tool, and I'm going to show you exactly how to mark out your radius. So basically what we're going to do is draw out a piece of pie. So what we're going to do is start at the tip, and I'm just using a regular tape measure because I know everybody has this, and I'm going to be marking my 6 1/8, and I'm going to keep doing this, moving it, but making sure it always stays with the tip here. So 6 1/8, 6 1/8. I like to mark on both sides of my tape measure when I do this. I think it makes it a little faster. Okay, so now I have all of these blue little dashes. I can connect them, connect the dots here. And now this is my cutting line. And when I cut, I'm going to go through all 4 layers. So I got my fabric scissors, and now I'm going to cut directly on this line through all 4 layers. Woo! And there's my piece of pie. And you can take this little piece of pie and you can make it into a pocket square. It's a circular pocket square. Just finish your edges, little zigzag, little baby rolled hem, and give it to your mate and they can put it in their pocket. Now let's open this up and check out the circle we made. Now we're going to unfold the magic here. Check this out. So now we have a big circle up here that we can attach our elastic to. Just to double check your work, definitely step into it right now and make sure you can get it over your hips. And if you can't, you can always make your circle bigger. Now that we have our skirt all prepped, we need to figure out how much elastic we need for our waist. I'm going to be using this really fun pastel rainbow waistband elastic. For this technique, you are going to see the elastic on the outside of the garment, so make sure you choose an elastic that you like because you're going to see it. And I think a wider elastic works best for this as well. It's more comfortable. To measure the elastic, I suggest taking it and pulling it around you and making it comfortable wherever you want to wear it. It might be your natural waist, it might be your low hip, etc. But don't make it too tight. And since all elastic has a different stretch to it, some elastics you might need to cut more or less depending on the elastic. So I think this feels comfortable here for me, so I'm going to go ahead and cut. And leave an extra ½ inch so that way we can overlap it for a seam. So before we put the elastic in, we want to make sure that we clean up this raw edge here that's fraying. So I'm just going to run mine through the serger real quick. So if you have a serger, serge it. And if you don't, totally okay. Just zigzag it or overcast it on your regular sewing machine. Let's do it. We only have 1 seam to finish in this project. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you like and subscribe to Sewing Anastasia. It helps the channel a lot. And if you're looking to improve your sewing skills, make sure you check out the Sewing Anastasia Sewing Academy. Link is down below in the description. Those are online classes, which means you can sew with me anywhere in the world. Now back to our tablecloth. So now we have our circle finished with the serge. Now we're gonna take the piece of elastic for our waist and we're gonna butt up the edges right next to each other and we're gonna zigzag them together. So that way we don't have anything bulky where the edges meet. So I'm butting both of my edges up together. I have my zigzag stitch selected and I'm going to make sure that the stitch is going over both sides, right to left. And it's sewing them together. And I'm gonna go backwards all the way back up that little area. So I make sure it's nice and strong. I'm gonna come back down. I like to go back and forth a few times just to make sure it's nice and strong. And then when I feel good about how strong it is, I can cut. Now my seam is nice and together. It's time to attach it to the skirt, but it's not that easy. We want to make sure that our stretch is even throughout. So we're going to quarter our elastic and we're going to quarter our skirt and match up those spots. What I mean by quartering is marking spots on the elastic evenly. So I'm going to make a mark right where my seam is. If you keep it folded in half, you can make another mark right across from it. And then take those two marks and match them up. And then you're gonna have to mark these other two ends here. And then you will have 4 spots marked on your elastic. And now we need to do the same thing to our skirt. The easiest way to do this is fold it in half. Go ahead, mark one side that's folded, mark the other side that's folded. Of course, I've got blue flower with blue ink. There we go. And now we're going to take it and we're going to match those 2 spots, and then over here this is going to be our other quarter, so I can mark that one. And then when I match up those 2 spots there in the center, the other fold over here is going to be my other quarter. Now what we're going to do is line up the spots on the skirt with the spots on the waistband. I'm going to start with where I want my center back. Now my fabric for the skirt is going to come up onto my 1-inch waistband here, about 1/2 inch. And I'm going to pin it on the pretty side because I'm going to be sewing with the right side face up. Now what we're going to do is find the next mark on the elastic and we're going to line that up with the other mark on the skirt here. And you're going to notice you're going to have more fabric than you do elastic because when we sew, we're going to stretch the elastic and sew it down. And so we're going to match up all of these little spots. So I've got another spot right here. So we got my spot on the skirt with my spot on the elastic. We're overlapping that about 1/2 inch and we're pinning. And now I have one more spot to mark, which is right here. We've got that blue spot on the elastic. We've got it pushed up 1/2 inch and we're pinning. There we go. So now I have the 4 spots pinned onto the elastic. So now when we sew, we're just going to concentrate and work in between each quarter, stretching it and sewing it as we go. And then when we're done, we're gonna have a new skirt to try on. So I have my zigzag stitch set, and when I sew, I'm going to be sewing on the left side here where the fabric is. And I've got that fabric about 1/2 inch up under the elastic. So let's remove that pin. Let's get a few stitches in, add some back stitches. And then you're gonna grab the other pin and you're gonna stretch it until the fabric is nice and flat. And now we are going to zigzag all the way down the edge of that elastic. Engage your needle down button if you have it. Stop and check and just make sure everything's looking good. And then continue on your way. Always stop, move your fabric when you need to so it doesn't get caught under your foot. When you get up to the next pin, stop and remove it, and then move your hand down to the next pin so that way you have your next stretching point. Notice I keep a hand in the back as well. We're up to our next pin, so I'm going to remove, find that other pin, and stretch. Our last pin to remove, find that beginning point, and stretch it out. When you get back to where you started, back stitch and cut. We did it! We finished! Wasn't that a quick, easy upcycle? And it looks fantastic if I might say so myself. This is definitely meant to be a skirt, not a tablecloth. Look at how nice and evenly this gathered into the elastic, and the waistband looks great on here with the little zigzag stitch. And because it's elastic, it stretches out so that way we can pull it up and down over our hips. And check out the volume on this. There's so much volume because it is a circle. We made a circle skirt out of a circle tablecloth. And here it is on. I just love the movement of it. It so has 1950s, 60s vibes, and it's so full with so much dancing volume. And it's super comfortable to wear because the waist is elastic. What do you guys think of the tablecloth circle skirt? Are you gonna make one? And what other household items should I turn into clothing? Leave it down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions about the projects, leave it down below and I will get back with you as soon as I can. And if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to Sewing Anastasia and hit that notification bell so you know when the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget, you can take sewing classes in person or online. Links for those are down below in the description. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all the socials. That way we can stay connected and creative together. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.